feel good in college, but just a nickname didn't really matter. Not giving any medical advice. I do have to say something about Jessica. I saw her in the green room the other day, and she was crying. And I said, "What's wrong?" And I tried to console her, and she said, "Jesse, the Democrats lost the redistricting war. We're going to lose 12 House seats."
That's not how it happened.
I said, "Here, take my pocket hanky." And she dabbed her eyes, and she goes, "The only way we're going to win elections now is if we steal them." And I said, "It's okay. You guys are very good at that." But that's the reality, 12 seats. And if you look at the generic congressional ballot, it's too close for comfort. You guys can't raise any cash. The DNC's broke. Trump has a massive war chest. And I get it. You know, Trump is now taking so many issues off the table because he's been successful. No one's talking about crime, culture, the border, because those aren't issues anymore.
There is
the
no
only
culture under
issue,
Donald Trump.
the trans thing, we don't even talk about it anymore. You guys lost that big time. On the economy, yes, gas prices are high because there's a little excursion. The Iranians shut down the strait, but he's not going to get pressured into a bad deal. And in the meantime, that will hurt Republicans. He's not on the ballot. So he's looking for the long-term interests of the United States. The reason you guys aren't getting any traction on the economy is because gas prices were higher for much longer under Biden. And you ran up the inflation rate to 9% and said it was a good thing. So stop. You guys made the country weird. You had guys with little nails, trans, running all over the White House, chasing Binder while Biden was asleep in his suit. You guys got to do what you need to do. Run a Nazi oyster farmer. Run a pastor who says God is gay. I don't care. Run a woman that dumped a scalding hot thing of potatoes on her husband's head. Whatever you need to do. We're the underdog. We like to run like that.
Wow. They need better music than that, man. They should be playing funeral music. Oh, come on. They need some funeral music behind this. Oh, come on. They need some better music, man. This is too good. They need some funeral music.
I thought that was
behind
funny.
I actually think the music choice was good
Oh,
because
yeah?
it sounded like a child who was learning the piece and struggling. And I think that's a perfect background sound for what we're seeing. We are watching a real struggle happen here. This is where we are. The jig is up for the Democrats. Financially, they still have some large pockets. Certainly the Open Society Foundation, Hollywood, they've got some large pockets for donation. The problem is their systems have broken down. And this was the genius of Donald Trump and Elon Musk with the USAID. Everyone got caught up in the sensational, $10 million to send condoms to Botswana.
Yes,
And all of these wild things. It was like, wait a minute, why is the American government paying for this crazy type stuff? Well, here's why. Because, and I don't even know if that's true, I made that up. But here's why. Because nobody can go to Botswana and check. That was the advantage in having these things be outlandish and crazy, and especially in these far off lands, is because nobody could check where if the actual condoms ever did land in Botswana or ever were produced or ever even purchased.
That's right.
And sent. There's no mail receipt. There's no shipping or tracking address. There was no way, and most importantly, no interest in checking on any of this stuff. So what that did it was like, you got to think of it almost like tennis or Wise when he's in the garage trying to pretend he could play pickleball, hitting up against the wall. It bounced back. That's what the money does. It bounces back to who? To the same people who sent it out, allegedly. So they send it out, and what happens? It volleys right back to them.
Yes.
And so they get the money. Okay, the NGOs, the elites, they get the money back. And what do they do with that money? They have to give a cut. Everybody, we see all the mob movies. You have to kick up.
That's right.
You gotta kick up. How do they kick up? Well, here comes Act Blue, which is why days into the administration, 8 executives from Act Blue immediately resigned. They just, we're done. Yep. We're finished. We're out. Can't be around. Don't know our name. Because then they take that same money that they got kicked back, and now they use it legally to donate to political campaigns. That's how they kick up. Yep. So the problem is not that there's no money in the Democrat Party. There's not that much of an interest in donating it because the circle system of laundering that they have has been disrupted. They have not quite figured out how to get that money out to Botswana, back to them, so they can kick it up to the politician. And since nobody knows how to do it, and there's not a lot of interest in this. The unfortunate thing is, and I have to say, because I'm very hard on the Republican Party and their ability to take what is a wonderful set of circumstances and ruin it. But I will say I am it's almost as if the heavens have worked to remove the barriers, almost such without even the efforts of the Republicans, even though it's happening even without their consent. They're willing them to it. They're just forcing them to win, even though these people are going, please don't make us win. Please don't let us leave. It seems as though they're almost going to have to do it because there is no barrier. They're taking every possible barrier away.
The election of Trump did it.
That's right. From the Republicans and their diehard commitment to try to lose every time they can. So we might actually be in a winning scenario, which is extremely important because we cannot complete the agenda. And the Democrats are so loathed and sad. They don't know where they can get elected. They don't know how they can get elected. I don't believe that when Johnson said he would have us voting for them for the next 80 years, that he pulled the number 80 out of the air. There has to be some science to why that is, because to me, it's very interesting that the end of Black people's relationship with the Democrat Party, which is what we are watching, coincides with the actual end and the demise of the Democrat Party. Both things are happening simultaneously. The Democrat Party is self-imploding, and as it is self-imploding, its relationship with Black people is undergoing a drastic change.
I just want to say that I want you to understand that this is why they fought so hard to keep Trump out of office. You need to make that connection, because if you don't, you lost the narrative. They fought tooth and nail to do everything they can to demonize this man, to put him in jail, to make him unelectable, to make it impossible for him to even run for election. They were so afraid of him being in there because they knew that if he got in there and got that power, he would be able to uncover all of their evil, all of their corruption. And that's why they hate him so much. Don't you think for one moment that they hate him because he's a bad person, because he's a dictator, because he's a felon, because he's a womanizer. They hate him because he threatened their power and their exposure of their corruption. Bottom line.
Oh, absolutely, Minister Danzel. He threatened the money.
Yes.
He threatened the money. And that's why they have such disdain for this guy. Now, they've told their constituents all this other stuff. Has nothing to do with that. Because they were okay with it when they were receiving money from them 20, 30 years ago. They were okay with them.
Yep.
But once you go in and you start, hey, man, he playing with the money. And Elon Musk, as well as Trump, they go in here, they create those, and they go and they say, hey, we're attacking USAID. And they find out, the American people find out all the things that these people are spending millions of our taxpayer dollars on. And then you also find out that, only a small percentage of the money is actually going towards the cause that they say that it's going towards. Some kind of way they're filtering that money back. There is a direct correlation with USAID being cut off and the DNC struggling for bread. Because what we do know is that Democrats they're not just donating to liberal campaigns like that. That's not happening. Majority of your Democrats, not all of them, but a large majority of Democrats are poor people. They don't have money. They don't pay taxes. You think they're giving to campaigns? Come on, don't stop it. It don't even make sense. It don't make sense at all. And here we have it again, with the Republican Party freeing Black people from the grips of the Democrat Party once again, not because they were asking for it, but because it is what needs to be done. For the betterment of our nation. And still no different than back then. You had Black folks fighting in the Confederate Army to uphold their bondage. You have it right now, Black folks fighting for the Democrat Party to continue their bondage in these piss poor communities that have been poor for the better part of 50, 60 years since they drew them up.
Well, this marks the school system told people that that's what the Emancipation Proclamation was. The fact of the matter is they wanted to end slavery from the inception of this country.
That's right.
And they got to the point where they were able to do it. That's part of the reason it happened. They want to start this whole racism and that white Americans were so dedicated to having slavery. I keep saying this. Stop letting white people hide behind Democrats. It was not white Americans who wanted slavery. It's Democrats who wanted slavery. It was Democrats who were committed to slavery. And then we've talked about what Democrats have done, except them. It was Democrats that they were fighting for that 3/5 of a person so that they could keep you in perpetual slavery. It was Democrats. And white people, this is on you now. You have to stand up and you have to say white people are not racist. Democrats are. White people didn't enslave Black Americans. Democrats did. White people were not hanging Blacks and Italians and other races by the Ku Klux Klan. Democrats were. White people didn't show race of a nation under a Republican president. That was Woodrow Wilson. Democrats did. White people stopped letting these Democrats use you. And lie about you because it is tearing the country apart. White people have been our friends. White people fought to unslave us. White people showed us grace and dignity. White Quakers let us in their school to teach us when Democrats were going to whip you if you learned to read. White people, we have a beautiful relationship. Democrats, it's about nothing with you.
Absolutely. You're absolutely right. People need to take the time to get an understanding that the 3/5 compromise, it wasn't to harm you, it was to help you.
That's right.
And you get Black folks out there that will say, well, they said that we were only 3/5 of the human.
Still was talking that bullshit.
Get an understanding of what that meant.
Amen.
Democrats just continue to show who they are. And Celeste, I'll disagree with you on one point. It's not like the heavens are doing something. No, God is.
Oh, they are.
God is exposing.
He is
He's exposing because the things that are happening, I need people to really understand this is divine. These people have hidden these things so well, so very well. The fact that I need y'all to understand how God's hand is in this. The fact that they have burn bags that were not burned. If you heard what was supposed to happen when you have those burn bags that they found in the FBI, the fact that they found those bags, what was actually supposed to happen to those documents, and those things was there for them to be able to get. That is God's divine providence. God is moving because listen, as I said last night, we're in judgment and he's judging. And right now he is pulling back the curtain. He's letting everybody see what is going on. So the slush fund that the Democrats have been running around with, all their honeypots are just being revealed, and they're mad. They're big mad. They're crashing out, and they think that they still have that demonic stronghold over a lot of people, especially the Black vote. They really, really, really do. But a lot of people are their eyes have been opened, and they're seeing the truth, and they're like, no, we want no parts of this. As I said, I had lunch with a friend yesterday. I told her, I said, what Democrats don't realize is not only have they gone so far left, but they're literally being consumed by the Democratic Socialist Party, and they have no idea. They're being consumed by them. So everything the Democratic Socialists are standing for, they are taking over. So the moderates, like the John Fettermans and them, are like, this is crazy. I didn't sign up for this. And a lot of people are looking like, I want no parts of this either. I would rather be independent. Some people would just rather say, I'll just be independent, because they want no parts of the evil. And they found out where their money is going. And when you take my taxpayer money, I work hard for, to fund things that I would never support, to put people in office that I would never support. As I forgot who said it. Was it you, Alex? I don't know who said, instead of saying gender affirming, they said no, it was Vince Everett Ellis that says it. Instead of saying gender affirming, say they're cutting off your child's body parts. Or instead of saying, so you say it like it is.
That's
and
right.
Reproductive rights. Say exactly what it is. It's not reproductive rights. No.
He said,
no.
Say it what it is. And then when people realize, wait, that's what my money's going towards? That's what my taxpayer money? No, I'm not funding y'all. And so right now, as their money is depleting, the Republicans is growing and growing and growing and growing, as it should be. And just to touch on what y'all are saying, this is why I said this is Jim Crow 2.0. It really is Jim Crow 2.0. We are living in Jim Crow 2.0, because the only difference is it's more sophisticated. It's more silent. It's more sophisticated now. In this Jim Crow 2.0, they don't have the whips, the chains, the this, the that, whatever. It's
extremely quick, actually quick. So just for the money of it, I think you all did a great job hitting on the Democrats and their leaning. I just want to ask a question. How do you think that that liberals are going to spin this? Because objectively speaking, they ain't got any money, and that is important to them. It's not like all of a sudden Democrats don't care about money. Let's go back to 2018 midterms. Democrats were breaking that arm, patting themselves on the back, because they raised 154 million to the 108 million the Republicans raised when it came to the House races. They went all over the news about it. Matter of fact, Nancy Pelosi constantly being hailed as someone who is a top fundraiser for the Democratic Party, and coming out constantly bragging about how much money they brought in. They did it in 2018. They did it in 2016. They did it in pre-2020, touting how much they had a financial edge in the House seats once again because of Pelosi, right? You can find all this stuff online. But if I look on online and just say, like, you know what, is it really that bad, right? Maybe Wise woke up, decided to be outside of character and put something that he didn't research up here. Found a really cool article here. Did you know that the RNC has a nearly 7-to-1 money advantage over the DNC, which the DNC, by the way, has more debt than they do cash on hand. They're not even in the black. They're still in the red. Yeah. And that's not something that's biased. That comes from CNN, are the ones that reported this. So the question I have is, how do we spin this? Because liberals typically like to ignore anything that conservatives say. It doesn't go with their mentality, and they just argue against the individual. How are you going to spin this one? Is money suddenly not important? Are you suddenly now championed to win without fundraising because it all of a sudden doesn't matter? I would love to see how this one plays out. They're going to be quiet about it, though. They're not going to say anything. They're going to have some illogical way of dancing around this one. We're going to see what happens, and I'll leave it on this point here. This election in the midterms, we do not say it enough, is an incredibly important election. And one of two very obvious things are going to happen. Either the Republicans are going to lose some of the seats they have, potentially getting rid of the wave they have, at which point in time liberals will go out of their way to stop anything that Trump wants to do for the rest of the presidency, like they're doing right now, and it's going to wind up being utilized in the presidential campaign as a footnote saying that it was a failure. Or liberals are going to wind up losing, at which point in time, y'all just better button up. Y'all better be ready for it. Right. Liberals do not take losing well. And they are the ones who typically protest. They are the ones that typically wind up causing destruction. That's easy to look up as well. I anticipate them either A, trying to cheat, B, they're definitely going to cry a lot about it, and C, what happens after that, I have no idea, because it's very unpredictable.
Take your vitamin D.
What are your thoughts on any of this? Hit the like button, share the video, subscribe to the channel, turn those notifications on to all so you never miss an upload. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the support. And as always, keep God first. Stay prayed up. We'll catch up with you guys next time. Peace.
It is God who arms me with strength. Yeah, I'm battle ready. He trains my hands for battle. My heart stays steady. But thanks be to God, he gives us the victory. Through my Lord Jesus Christ, fear can't live in me. I was down to the dirt, red clay on my shoes, old pain in my shirt, oh so bruised. In the Lord hit my chest, kicked air from my breath, put power in my step.